Maya had always been taught that love could rebuild anything, that with enough patience, a broken family could be stitched back together. But those lessons belonged to her childhood, long before her mother passed away, long before her father remarried a woman who treated her like an uninvited guest in her own home. At 16, Maya walked quietly through the hallways of a house that once echoed with laughter, now feeling more like a stranger than a daughter. Her stepmother, Denise, didn't have to shout to make Maya feel unwanted. The sighs, the cold stares, the whispered remarks under her breath, they were enough. The rejection wasn't dramatic, it was slow, like a door closing inch by inch. Maya's father, Samuel, was a truck driver who spent days on the road. He didn't see the way Denise looked at Maya's dark skin or how she constantly compared Maya to her own daughters, light-skinned twins named Chloe and Claire. Whenever Samuel was home, Denise acted like the perfect wife and caring stepmother. But the moment he left, the warmth vanished. Maya learned to survive by shrinking herself. She stayed in her room after school, cooked her own meals, washed her own clothes. She tried every trick to avoid confrontation. But no matter how quietly she lived, Denise still found reasons to blame her for things she didn't do. That morning, it started again. Maya walked into the kitchen just as Denise discovered a broken plate in the sink. The twins were sitting at the table eating cereal, exchanging mischievous looks. Denise picked up the plate and held it up as if she'd found evidence at a crime scene. "Maya," she called sharply, "do you want to explain this?" Maya froze. I didn't break that." Chloe and Claire hid their smiles. Denise let out a cold laugh. "Of course you didn't. Nothing is ever your fault, right? You walk around this house like it belongs to you. You eat our food, use our electricity, and still have the nerve to lie." Maya felt her throat tighten. "I really didn't." "Enough." Denise cut her off, pushing the pieces of the plate toward her. "Clean this up, and stop giving me that sad look. If you want people to feel sorry for you, try acting like a decent person first." The words stung, because they were never just about a plate. They were about everything. About Maya's skin, her quiet nature, her mother's memory that still lingered in the photographs Samuel refused to take down. Maya cleaned the pieces silently while Denise kept muttering, loud enough for her to hear. I swear if Samuel didn't insist on keeping her here, things would run so much smoother. She didn't cry. She had stopped crying a long time ago. School wasn't much easier. Her confidence was thin, almost transparent. She kept her head down. She studied hard, but she never had the energy to join anything or make real friends. She always felt like she had to hurry home before Denise found another excuse to scold her. But on that day, something changed. After school, Maya stayed behind to finish a project in the library. Her teacher, Mrs. Reynolds, noticed her worn-out expression and gently asked if everything was all right. Maya forced a smile and said she was fine. She always said she was fine. Walking home, the sky was turning orange. The air smelled like rain. Maya moved quickly, clutching her backpack, mentally preparing for whatever mood Denise would be in. But when she opened the door, she heard voices, angry ones. Denise was arguing with someone on the phone. "No, I'm telling you," she snapped. "I am not raising someone else's child for free. Samuel's too soft to see what she really is. And when he's gone, I'm the one stuck with her. She's nothing but a burden." Maya froze in the hallway, her heart pounding so loudly she could barely hear the rest. "She's not even my blood," Denise hissed. "My daughters deserve everything. Why should a girl who's not even part of a Y family take what belongs to them?" Maya couldn't breathe. Each word cut deeper than the last. She knew Denise didn't like her, but to hear that she wasn't considered family at all, it was worse than she imagined. But then Denise said something else, something that made Maya's legs tremble. "When the time comes, the will is going to be clear. Samuel better not think I'm letting her have anything. Not a cent. It should all go to Chloe and Claire. Not her. The will." For the first time, Maya realized the rejection wasn't emotional. It was strategic. Denise wasn't just cruel. She was preparing for something. Maya stepped back quietly, trying not to be heard, but the floor creaked beneath her. Denise's head snapped around. "Oh, look who's home," she said with a fake smile. Eavesdropping, are we? Maya shook her head quickly. No, I don't care, Denise said, waving her off. Go upstairs. I don't want to deal with you right now. Maya obeyed, but her mind was spinning. A will? Why would her father need a will? He wasn't old. He wasn't sick, at least not that she knew of. She sat on her bed, hugging a pillow, trying to steady herself. Her father loved her. She knew that. But Denise was right about one thing. He was too soft, too trusting. He never saw what happened when he wasn't home. Maya lay awake for hours, listening to the rain tapping against the window. She wondered what would happen if her father really wasn't around one day. Would Denise throw her out? Would she fight for everything? Would Maya have anything left of the life she used to know? And deep down, a fear she'd buried for years began to rise. Maybe she already wasn't part of the family. Maybe she never had been. The next morning, Maya woke to the same gray light filtering through her window. The air was heavy with unspoken tension, and the house felt colder than ever. She ate her breakfast quietly, avoiding Chloe and Claire at the table. Their smirks and whispered remarks had become almost a routine, something she expected but never got used to. Her father, Samuel, kissed her on the cheek as he left for work, humming a tune her mother used to sing. Have a good day, Maya, he said. His smile was warm, but it didn't reach his eyes. He had no idea what had been said yesterday, no clue how deeply Denise's words had cut into her. She packed her bag and left for school, trying to shake off the heaviness. Walking through the hallways, she kept her head down, avoiding the stares of students who whispered and stared as if they could sense her family troubles. Most people didn't understand what it was like to feel invisible in your own home, to live every day knowing the people closest to you didn't want you there. When school ended, Maya didn't go straight home. She walked to a small park she often visited with her mother. The swings creaked in the wind, and the grass smelled faintly of damp earth. She sat on the edge of the swing and closed her eyes, letting the memories of her mother's laughter wash over her. Her mother had been her safe place, her anchor. She had taught Maya to cook, to read with care, to stand up for herself when the world felt heavy. But now, with her gone, Maya felt unmoored. She wasn't just mourning her mother's death. She was mourning the home she'd once known, the love she'd taken for granted, the life she'd trusted would always be there. Hours passed, and eventually Maya decided to return. She walked slowly, bracing herself for the usual cold reception. But when she entered the house, something felt different. The living room was quiet, the kind of silence that made her chest tighten. Denise was sitting on the couch, pretending to read a magazine, but her eyes flicked to Maya with a mixture of calculation and curiosity. Your father mentioned the will, Denise said suddenly, her tone neutral but sharp. It's coming up soon. Maya paused, unsure how to respond. Yes, she said quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. Denise's lips pressed into a thin line. I hope you understand that. She stopped, as if reconsidering how much to reveal. Just know that your future, the way your father's assets are distributed, it's complicated. Maya felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Complicated? That word carried a weight she didn't yet fully understand. She nodded silently and retreated to her room, closing the door softly behind her. That night, Maya lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She thought about her mother, about the quiet sacrifices she had made to ensure Maya had a future. She thought about her stepfamily, about how unwelcoming they had been, about Denise's whispered threats. She wondered what her father would say when the will was read. Would he stand by her? Or would he be swayed by his new wife's arguments and his daughter's opinions? The next day, the tension in the house was palpable. Samuel returned from work early, his expression anxious. Denise was unusually quiet, and Chloe and Claire whispered behind their hands, shooting Maya glances that were less sneers and more uncertainty. You're all quiet today, Samuel said, noticing the unusual behavior. Something's going on, isn't it? Denise offered a small, tight-lipped smile. Just thinking about the will, she said. That's all. Maya's heart pounded. She didn't want to admit she had overheard Denise talking on the phone, but she also couldn't ignore the fear settling in her chest. The will. Whatever her mother had left behind, it would change everything. That evening, Samuel received a call from the attorney. The family would need to gather the next morning for the reading of the will. The house was tense as they discussed the arrangements. Maya sat quietly at the edge of the room, listening to Denise and the twins argue over who would sit where and who would inherit what. Their voices dripped with entitlement, a sense of ownership she had never experienced. Maya didn't say a word. She simply listened, holding her mother's locket in her hand, a small silver piece that had been her mother's most treasured possession. She traced its edges, feeling the weight of a legacy she didn't yet fully understand. That night, she packed a small bag with essentials just in case. She didn't know what the reading of the will would bring, but something deep inside her told her that her life was about to change in ways she couldn't imagine. For the first time in weeks, she felt a strange mix of fear and hope. The morning of the reading arrived, and the house was unusually quiet. Denise and her daughters were busy making plans, as if preparing themselves for some kind of victory. Samuel was calm but tense, carrying the quiet anxiety of a man who knew this moment could shift everything. Maya entered the room with measured steps. She was nervous, yes, but she carried herself with the quiet dignity her mother had instilled in her. She wouldn't beg, she wouldn't cry. She would stand and let the truth speak for itself. The attorney arrived, a calm, professional woman who immediately set the atmosphere. She explained the process briefly, then began reading the will. Maya listened closely, feeling the words settle into her heart like slow, deliberate raindrops. And then came the part she had been waiting for, the distribution of her mother's estate. Her father, stepmother, and stepsisters all leaned forward slightly, their curiosity mingled with barely concealed entitlement. Maya's hands tightened around the locket. When the attorney spoke her name, Maya's heart stopped for a moment. All eyes turned to her. "You, Amara Johnson, are the sole beneficiary of your mother's estate," the attorney said. "This includes her savings, her home, and her personal belongings. This decision was made solely by her, in recognition of the love and care you shared, and her trust in you for the future." The room fell silent. Maya felt a rush of emotions, shock, disbelief, a quiet sense of justice, and, strangely, relief. She had been overlooked, ignored, and dismissed, but here was her mother's final message. You are seen, you are loved, you are worthy. Denise's lips parted slightly. Chloe and Claire looked pale. Samuel's eyes softened, a mixture of pride and sadness washing over him. Maya felt the weight of her mother's love settle around her like a warm, protective cloak. For the first time since her mother passed, she allowed herself a small, quiet smile. The world hadn't changed, but she had. She had survived humiliation, rejection, and fear, and she had come out stronger, guided by the unwavering love of the woman who had given her life and lessons she would carry forever. Maya knew the next days would not be easy. There would be tension, there would be adjustments, and her stepfamily would have to reconcile their behavior. But now, she carried with her a quiet certainty. She had her mother's trust, her father's support, and, most importantly, her own strength. And that would be enough to face whatever came next. The morning after the will reading, the house felt different, though not immediately warmer. There was an awkward quiet in the air, a tension that was almost tangible. Denise, Chloe, and Claire moved around as if they had to remind themselves that Maya was no longer just a guest. Every glance she caught from them carried a mixture of surprise, embarrassment, and, in some moments, grudging respect. Maya woke early, as she had always done, and went to the kitchen. Samuel was already there, brewing coffee. He looked up and gave her a soft, approving smile. "Morning, Maya," he said. "Sleep well." She nodded, returning a faint smile. "Yes, thank you." He handed her a cup of cocoa, which she accepted quietly. She wasn't hungry yet. Her mind kept replaying the events of the previous day, the attorney's words echoing in her mind. Her mother had left her everything. Not just money, not just property, but a message that she had always believed in her, even when others did not. The atmosphere at breakfast was tense. Denise and her daughters exchanged glances over the table, their voices lower than usual. The twins were quiet, picking at their cereal with their eyes flicking toward Maya now and then, unsure how to act. Denise's expression was unreadable, calm, composed, but something about it had shifted. The sharp edge of contempt was replaced by a thin layer of unease. Samuel cleared his throat. So, now that it's official, we need to discuss some things. He looked around at the family, finally meeting Maya's gaze. This house is still yours in every way, Maya, and I want you to feel that you belong here. That goes for everyone. Maya's heart swelled. She wanted to say thank you, to tell him how much this meant. But words felt unnecessary. A simple nod was enough. The day unfolded slowly, with small but noticeable changes. The twins didn't whisper as much when she walked past. Denise didn't make snide remarks, though she still remained distant. Maya could sense the tension inside them, the discomfort of having to confront the truth of their assumptions. She didn't relish their discomfort, but she acknowledged it. The balance of power had shifted. Later that afternoon, Maya decided to explore the house. For years, she had avoided it, intimidated by its size and the certainty of exclusion. But now, walking down the hallways, touching the familiar surfaces, she felt a strange sense of belonging. The living room where her father watched TV, the dining room where Denise hosted family dinners. These places had once felt foreign, but now they seemed hers too. While exploring, Maya found a small study tucked behind a door near the kitchen. Her mother had kept a few personal items there: photographs, journals, letters. She picked up a journal and opened it carefully. The handwriting was familiar, strong, and precise. Page after page spoke of love, of care, of quiet hope for Maya's future. Each word reaffirmed what the will had already declared. Her mother had believed in her, trusted her, and had prepared for a day when Maya might have to stand alone. That evening, Maya overheard Chloe and Claire in their room. The twins were whispering, their voices shaky and unsure. "I can't believe Dad actually gave her everything," Chloe said. "I know," Claire replied, her voice quiet. "We treated her like she didn't belong, and we were wrong." Maya listened from the doorway, unsure if she should confront them. But she didn't need to. Their voices revealed regret, and that was a start. Dinner was quieter than usual. Maya noticed small gestures that would have been impossible before. Denise handing her a plate without comment, Chloe waiting for Maya to sit before starting to eat, Claire making eye contact without quickly looking away. These were small acts, but they carried meaning. Later that night, Samuel found Maya sitting on the porch steps, staring at the stars. "You're thinking a lot tonight," he said gently, sitting beside her. "I am," Maya admitted. "It's just strange. Everything feels different, and yet, I don't know if it's real yet." Samuel smiled softly. "It's real. Your mother made it real. And now you get to live it. But I know it's complicated. You have to navigate their feelings, and yours too." "I don't want to be angry," Maya said, her voice quiet. I want things to feel like they're supposed to." "That's all any of us want," Samuel said. "And I think in time they will. You'll see. People change when they have to face the truth, and your mother made sure that truth couldn't be ignored." Maya nodded, taking a deep breath. She felt a faint weight lift from her chest. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. She knew that. But for the first time, she felt the possibility of peace, of belonging, and a family that respected her for who she was. The next few days passed with small but meaningful interactions. Chloe helped her with some chores around the house. Claire asked her opinion about decorating a small corner of the living room. And even Denise began to engage in brief conversations that were neutral, free from judgment. Maya responded cautiously, unsure if she could trust the new behavior, but allowed herself small moments of hope. One afternoon, Maya found herself in the garden, watering the plants her mother had cared for. The scent of roses and jasmine reminded her of afternoons spent with her mother, laughing as they planted flowers and shared stories. She realized that she had survived the rejection, the humiliation, and the constant scrutiny of people who didn't understand her. And through it all, she had remained herself, strong, patient, and grounded in love. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the house, Maya felt a sense of quiet triumph. The will had done more than secure her future materially. It had given her validation, respect, and a voice in a household where she had previously felt invisible. She knew there would still be challenges ahead. Denise and the twins would need time to adjust. There would be awkward moments, moments of discomfort, perhaps even tension. But Maya had something no one could take from her now: her mother's trust, her father's support, and the quiet confidence that she deserved to belong. For the first time in a long while, Maya allowed herself to smile fully. Not the tentative smile she had given before, not the smiles masked by fear or shame, but a genuine, deep smile. It was a smile of relief, of understanding, and of hope. She had faced rejection. She had faced humiliation. And now, standing quietly in the fading sunlight, Maya realized something profound. Her life had changed forever, not because of the money, not because of the will, but because she had survived, endured, and held on to herself. And that was the greatest inheritance her mother had left her. The days after the will reading felt like walking through a fog. Maya woke each morning with a mixture of caution and curiosity, wondering how her stepfamily would react today and whether the fragile thread of respect that had begun to form would hold. The house felt different, less hostile, though not yet warm, but she could sense a shift in the air. Even Denise's sharp glances had softened slightly, and the twins no longer whispered cruelly when she passed. One evening, as the golden light of the sunset filtered through the living room windows, Chloe approached Maya. Her expression was hesitant, unsure, but there was a sincerity in her eyes that hadn't been there before. "Hey," Chloe said softly, sitting beside her on the couch. I just wanted to say sorry for the way we treated you before. It wasn't fair." Maya felt a lump in her throat. She had imagined this moment countless times, yet hearing the words aloud was still unexpected. She nodded slowly. "Thank you," she replied quietly. "I know it wasn't easy for any of us, but it's okay. We can try to move forward." Claire appeared behind Chloe, her own voice timid. "Me too," she said, almost in a whisper. "I didn't realize we were wrong." For the first time, Maya felt the weight of isolation lift slightly. The recognition of her worth, her place in this family, was no longer just in the papers of the will or in her father's words. It was beginning to be acknowledged by the people around her. Even Denise's attitude began to shift, albeit slowly. She stopped making cutting remarks, and though she remained stern, there was less malice in her tone. She began including Maya in household decisions, asking her opinions about minor matters, and for the first time, Maya felt like her voice mattered. One afternoon, Maya found herself in the kitchen with her father, helping him prepare a small meal. They moved together comfortably, chopping vegetables and stirring sauces in silence, their presence alone enough to fill the room with warmth. "You've grown so much, Maya," Samuel said gently. "I wish your mother could see this." "I think she does," Maya replied, smiling faintly. "Every time I remember what she taught me, I feel like she's still guiding me." It wasn't just the material inheritance that had changed Maya's life. It was the validation, the recognition of her mother's love, and the strength she carried forward. She realized that true wealth wasn't money or property. It was respect, dignity, and the knowledge that she belonged. Over the next few weeks, the household began to adjust to this new dynamic. Chloe and Claire occasionally struggled, slipping back into old habits. But each time, Maya handled it with patience, a quiet firmness that reminded them of the person they had underestimated. Even Denise, despite her lingering reservations, started to acknowledge Maya's presence without judgment. One evening, Maya sat alone on the porch, watching the stars emerge one by one. She reflected on the journey she had endured, the humiliation, the rejection, the fear of being alone in a family that had never fully accepted her. But now, standing on the other side of that journey, she felt something powerful: hope. It wasn't blind hope. She knew there would still be challenges, moments of discomfort and awkwardness. She knew that old habits die slowly, and that trust had to be built one day at a time. But she also knew that she had endured rejection before, survived humiliation, and emerged stronger every time. Her father joined her quietly, handing her a warm cup of tea. "You're amazing, Maya," he said simply. "Your mother would be so proud." Maya sipped the tea and smiled softly. "I just wish she could have stayed to see it herself." Samuel put a hand on her shoulder. "She is still with you," he said, "in your strength, your choices, and the way you carry yourself. That's her legacy, and now it's yours too." As the weeks turned into months, Maya found her place in the family more firmly. She wasn't just the daughter who had been rejected. She became the anchor, the quiet force that held the household together in moments of tension. She learned to navigate Denise's moods, Chloe and Claire's insecurities, and even her own fears. The turning point came one evening when Denise approached Maya with a small gift, a framed photo of Maya and her mother, taken years ago. Denise hesitated before handing it over. I know we haven't always treated you fairly," she said, her voice unusually soft. "I hope you can accept this. It belongs with you." Maya took the photo, her hands trembling slightly. She didn't respond with anger or resentment. Instead, she nodded, feeling a strange mixture of forgiveness and understanding. It wasn't about erasing the past. It was about acknowledging it and moving forward. Through it all, Maya discovered something profound. Her strength wasn't just in surviving the rejection or inheriting her mother's possessions. It was in her capacity to forgive, to hold on to her dignity, and to transform a family that had once been cold and distant into one that could, slowly, learn to accept her. On quiet nights, Maya would sit by her window, thinking about the future. She imagined going to college, building a life that honored her mother's memory, and becoming someone her mother would recognize not just in appearance, but in character and courage. She felt ready. She had been tested, and she had grown. The final lesson was clear. Family isn't always about blood. It isn't always about shared history. Sometimes it's about recognition, respect, and the willingness to see the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Maya's journey had been painful, yes, but it had also been transformative. By the time the first anniversary of her mother's passing arrived, Maya had established herself firmly in the household. Denise treated her with cautious respect. Chloe and Claire had softened, and her father remained a quiet, steadfast support. The house still had its complexities, but the foundation of love, respect, and acknowledgement that Maya had fought to secure was now unshakable. Maya understood that life wouldn't always be easy, that moments of tension and misunderstanding would return. But she had learned to stand tall, to carry herself with strength, and to trust in the love her mother had left behind. She wasn't just the girl who had been rejected. She was the daughter who had survived, who had been seen, and who had claimed her place in a family that had once denied her. And as she looked out over the garden where her mother's favorite flowers bloomed, Maya whispered softly to the night sky, "I will make you proud, Mom. I promise." The house, once a place of humiliation and quiet rejection, had transformed into a home where respect, love, and acceptance were finally possible. And Maya, through patience, courage, and unwavering dignity, had become the bridge between the past and the future, a living testament to her mother's legacy and the undeniable strength of her own heart.